While we're on holiday in Sussex, Heather and I visited the late Christopher Lloyd's garden at Great Dixter. We'd visited there a few years ago and we'd been impressed by the way he used plants to make a dazzling display of contrasting colours and heights. As soon as you walk in, you're met by a wall of plants. The place is divided into a series of gardens surrounded by hedges, trees and walls, and these are connected by narrow paths that zigzag around the place. Though they give you a map, you just let yourself go and follow the brightest colours. Because whether you look up or down, your eyes are filled with a feast of colour. That's the house that Christopher Lloyd used to live in till his death a few years ago. It's actually open now as a museum. Now I'm not going to name the plants in this video, partly because they didn't have any labels, so I couldn't tell you what they are anyway. The few that I do know, I'll tell you. So that one there is called Falcrum. I know that because I bought one from the garden centre after we'd visited. Sunken Garden. Oil of Evening Primrose. I don't know what that is, but I wish I got one in my garden. That's a beautiful blonde lady that I took with me. And everywhere you look, there's things growing up the walls, and little walkways through archways, etc. So you can never tell what you're going to see next.
I do love the houses.
It's a lovely old Tudor style mansion. Don't know what they are, but they're impressive. They use lots of grasses as well as perennials. There's this lady leading me up a garden path again. Clematis. Now these are impressive lilies. Some dahlias, I don't know the name of that one. That's amaranthus, or love lies bleeding. Theirs grows to about 5 feet tall. They only grew to about 18 inches in my garden. Love the way that this leads you off round a corner so you don't know what you're going to find until you get there. So wherever you look, you can't see the ground. It's totally filled with plants. And that inspired me to do something similar with my own garden. You've even got plants growing through the hedges. I think they're phlox, and they use their own plant supports made from wood to hold the plants up. I like that idea. There's a lovely blue salvia. Now they grow vegetables as well. That's a big compost heap. I thought it was the biggest one I'd ever seen, but you'll see later that I was wrong. Even the vegetables are multicoloured. That dahlia is called Anbreckenfelder. It's a colorette variety. I love this bed. I love the way that the heights are used to get to a wonderful display. Tall ones at the back, short ones at the front. I've tried to follow that method in my own garden. I only use dahlias though. You suddenly get into a patch where apparently there used to be a rose garden there next to the shed where they did a lot of the woodworking. You can just picture Christopher Lloyd there and his mates having lunch. As I say, you suddenly find yourself in like a jungle with what looks like banana plants. Very tall, very imposing, and quite dark. And there are plants here that I've never seen growing in a British garden before. Certainly would never have one of these growing in my garden in the north of England. Now this group of people, I realised afterwards, are all looking at a dahlia called Emery Paul, a tall pink one, giant decorative. And that is the biggest compost heap I've ever seen.